GM, sir.
What is going on? What the heck is happening?
Ether Orcs. It's the Ether Orcs world. We're all just living in it.
That's true. Yeah, Ether Orcs is doing its thing. It's the Ether Orkin.
This is the slowest and most pronounced supply crisis brewing I've ever seen. We've talked about how
ever seen like definitively. This is the peak.
Literally, right? Like if you look at say the supply of orcs has been under, I think, 50 orcs for a very long time.
This is true.
And we're now at about 26. I think I think someone did dump a few on the floor last night. We were up to 3.4 ETH, which was really it was heartening to see, as when orcs first debuted, they were at about 4, and as the game progressed, we made more orcs. So we only started with 1,000 orcs. It was pretty obvious that if you start with 1,000 at 5 ETH and make 4 more 1,000, well, the price was going to go down. Yet this seemed like some big, oh my God, we thought orcs were going to be this. I can't believe the price went down as we created 400% more supply. Well, it seemed pretty obvious to me. But we all had high hopes for the long-term potential here, and seeing them really close to that price that they first debuted at when we were all so excited is amazing. They're getting their due, and I just think that they still haven't had that mainstream moment yet. And I mean, there's 30 of these things at best available on the open market. And sure, I mean, if they were cleaned up, more would dump. I'm not saying people aren't waiting in the wings, but at the same time, if this caught a mainstream cycle, these could be 10 to 20 ETH in a week.
Just to cut you off there before we get the show started, I'm not sure. Are you on your normal microphone? This one's getting a little I don't want to say scratchy, like it's kind of staticky.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Yeah, no problem. Look at all these GMs, all these familiar faces in here. Ashtray, Sandman, Downgan, Kyle Ringer, the usual suspects, Cutter, Matt, NFT goals. We're gonna have to chat a little bit. I've been pulling my foot out of my mouth for the past 12 hours, so you know. Shout out to you. HAPEBeast is happening. That is for sure. Hologram season 3. Always happy. I think just joined into the Moon Lounge too. Congratulations and welcome to Alpha Mint. Penguin.
Do I sound clearer? I said he was beamed on up. That's our expression for bringing people from the general to the Moon Lounge.
Beamed up to the Moon Lounge. Yeah, you sound all right. I'm going to turn you up a little bit louder, but other than that, you're good.
It was, you know,
Chipper,
what it is too. It's
Bailey,
when we switched directly from Discord to this thing. My computer can't handle that audio switch.
You know what? I should have told you it was actually sounding like that when we were chatting too. I just sometimes you're on like a different. Sometimes you're on a different device and then you switch over.
Yeah.
So. No, you're good. You're good. Look at this. 25 beautiful DGens joining with us this morning. That number is going up. So we appreciate that. Yes.
2 on the Zug. Just as we were speaking, Zug just took a huge... You know what's going to happen today, guys? This is the last day that shamans are going to mint. Shamans will be done within 24 hours, probably less. And you are going to see people be buying tons of Zug today, tons of potions, and I'm sure they are bribing fellow orcs for bone shards. Right now, the price on bone shards is probably pretty relative to orcs. To the allies that you can mint with them. There's been quite a few price disparities where, you know, it was just kind of people not understanding the game and the market not properly pricing things. But there's been quite a few arbitrage opportunities. Zug, Bailey. Zug.
Zug is killing it. All right. 9:35, 25 people listening in. Do your little drum roll thing. GM, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday? Thursday, January 20th edition of the AM show, hosted live on YouTube and Twitch for your listening and viewing pleasure. Thank you everybody for tuning in with us again today. I actually just wanted to shout out, I did a little I'm gonna shout out ourselves actually. I did a little bit of accounting yesterday on Spotify to see how many episodes we've done since they've been recorded. They're not all on YouTube. We started that a little bit later, but this should be the 65th weekday in a row that we have done this show without missing one, which I think is actually just incredible. So pat on the back to you, my friend, for keeping that run alive, and I'm looking forward. We're gonna hit 100 pretty soon.
You know what? We are great. Thank you.
Yes, pat on the back there for you. No, I just like, you know what? It's awesome because like you listen to these podcasts and stuff, and they're like they've been going live for, you know, or they've been doing it for years or something. It's like their 100th episode or 200. Like we're fast tracking our way there, and it's been a hell of a run so far. And I appreciate everybody that's tuned in with us from the beginning, or all of the people that we've picked up along the way. You know, I think we always hoped that it would be successful, but I think the speed at which that this has happened is really humbling, I guess is a good word. So we appreciate that.
Yep, started from the bottom. Now we here.
Yes, yeah, we've at least gone up one rung or something like that, but yeah, we appreciate it. So, yeah, let's talk some crypto and NFTs. Yesterday, some stuff happened that we were, I guess, wholeheartedly wrong about. HAPEBeast dropped. We'll get into that in more depth because I think that there's something interesting happening there, and I think we have a lot to unpack with what was going on. How was your Tuesday? How was your Wednesday?
My Wednesday was great. It's been, again, nonstop work. I fell asleep in my chair yesterday. One meeting to another. I did that 2 days in a row. But I love it. You know, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I came to BitClout to do, to remake myself as an NFT guy instead of a stock guy. And yeah, having a great time doing it. It was a very busy day yesterday. Especially if you were a HAPEBeast whitelist holder who has absolutely we had a 7 ETH sale in the DGen dojo yesterday. It just unbelievable. Looks just hit 730. Man, yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pretty good today. Even though I didn't have that HAPEBeast whitelist, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, like I woke up this morning. I do my obligatory, you know, checking the floors on some of the projects that I pay closer attention to, some of the plays that I have that are kind of actively going on. And things start to be firming up. The floors are going up little bit by little bit. There seems to be some life coming back into the world as we know it. You know, gas has been relatively friendly towards that, and you can make the case that that's not the big defining factor. I actually think that HAPEBeast is going to have a pretty nice ripple effect in that regard. Again, we'll touch on it in a bit. But yeah, I think that that's going to be the big story of the day. Jumping into the crypto markets as we tend to do. Again, not much to report. Ethereum and Bitcoin hanging out at 3,200 and 42,000 respectively. Just staying within that kind of, you know, give or take 2% range over the last little bit. I think people, as we kind of hold these levels, obviously they're a bit lower than they have been in the recent past. I think the longer we hold these for a little bit, the more comfortable people get with rotating their money back into NFTs and, you know, some DeFi plays as well.
You could not ask for a more Goldilocks environment than we are sitting in right now. I don't even want to talk about it. It's so perfect. So it's just like, yes, please stay here for the rest of the year. We'll take a $2 range. I am loving what crypto is doing right now. It feels very, it just feels like even if there is one more flush, that we're closer to a bottom than not. I don't think we're going to be ripping higher anytime soon, which is, as we know, this is just great news for NFTs and many alts that we also enjoy. So.
Yeah. LooksRare is probably one of the big recipients of it as well. As somebody mentioned, Bailey mentioned, hit 730 this morning, very, very briefly before a big sell. But it just seems to be kind of two steps forward, one step back, looking at it right now, no pun intended. This is such a strange chart because it really hasn't had any big swing ups, any really big prolonged dips or anything. It's just accumulation, staking, and I think that the ball is really just getting rolling on the awareness of the platform, the usage of the platform, and just how juicy the Looks token has been. And I know we've talked a lot about it in the last week or so, but it really has just been an incredible run. And then we could see that very brief candle that it hit that $7.30 mark, but it really just kind of it crossed that $3 and then didn't really look back for too long. Crossed that $4, crossed that $5, we crossed that $6, and it really just seems to be a train that doesn't want to stop.
And shout out NFT goals, because look at what he's saying now. And as you pointed out to me this morning, when OS went down yesterday, okay, HAPEBeast launched. We know OS has a very hard time handling any type of large volume anything. So when there's they've been having record volume every day, regardless of this. You throw a hype drop into their servers couldn't handle it. Well, there were still 500 ETH in HAPEBeast traded that whole time that OS is down. Well, guess where that was happening? That was happening on LooksRare.org, right? And again, this is just another one of those. If you aren't in the NFT world, you are feeling pretty risk off right now, whether you're in spot crypto, whether you're in traditional stocks, whether you're sitting there in fiat. The world is against you right now. You have high inflation, you have falling stocks, and you have dumping crypto. Okay, yet if you looked at a Looks chart, and if you were in the NFT, we're all running around dressed as lemons. Whee! Rainbows falling out of our mouths. We don't even know. Look at the chart. I mean, this is really, again, it's indicative to me, and I think as we get into HAPEBeast later in the show, we'll talk about it. It's indicative to me of two things that are happening right now. We're seeing both the share of LooksRare they're taking market share away from OpenSea, but we're also seeing the overall market grow, right? That is a double compounding exponential effect on, all the assets that we all hold dear.
Yeah, absolutely. We will definitely touch on how LooksRare affected the HAPEBeast drop too, because I think that there should be a lot of frustration from the HAPEBeast crowd about OpenSea really. I mean, it didn't really, at the end of the day, take the wind out of their sails, but
we've seen it happen so many times.
We've seen it time and time again. And for a lesser hyped project or one that was just gathering momentum, it really can just completely fuck it up. So again, there's lots to unpack there and what this means for the NFT world. Quickly getting through some news pieces. Didn't even have this one queued up before about 15 minutes ago, but just saw it coming down that Meta is experimenting with NFT marketplace on Instagram. The wider arcing commentary on this is that Facebook and Instagram will be integrating NFTs and being able to share them as verified collections and whatnot on those platforms. Personally, haven't used Instagram or Facebook too much. Instagram more than Facebook, but not too much on either of them since doing NFTs. But this is again, it is a huge thing. This is a big nod to legitimacy. We talk about it time and time again that NFTs are not viewed favorably on Instagram and Facebook. They're crushing the environment, Ponzi scheme, pyramid scam. You get a lot of that on Twitter too once you venture outside of the NFT sphere in it. But remember, slowly but surely, this is gathering traction on these platforms. And again, going back to HAPEBeast, there's probably something there too.
This is really profound in the sense that, Web 2 is built on perspective, right? I've talked about how when you're on Instagram, it's very easy to make yourself look rich. You could lean on a rented Lamborghini. You can hold somebody else's gold chain. There's no way to prove one way or the other. You write in your caption, oh, hopping on the private jet. Maybe you were just standing near it on the tarmac. We have no idea. This is what the entire business model of Facebook and Instagram is built on. You get to present your life any way you want. Web 3 is based on provenance. It's based on trust. It's based on a universal, immutable ledger. This is a complete threat to the business model of all social media and Web 2. They see this coming, and this is just another sign that they see the threat and they're starting to try to move to mitigate that threat. I don't think they'll win. We're seeing this on all the platforms. This is really just a sign that Web3 is taking over and winning. I think that this is going to be so huge when we can verify NFTs on social media. I get followed by 10 punks and Bored Apes a day who have less than 100 followers. And sure, maybe they just bought that NFT, but more likely than not, they're right-click saving it to present that they are somebody who they're not. And very soon we're not.
They wouldn't do that.
Well,
nobody lies on the internet. Are you fucking crazy?
It's one thing if you're doing that as a fan and you can't afford it. You right-click save just because that's what you did. These people are doing it because they know they can get into certain chats. They know people will listen to them. They know that it's an in. Right? That's dangerous because unscrupulous people are going to use this to their advantage. So this verification isn't just good, it's necessary.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's going to be the new blue check, right? It's you don't have to worry about who I am as R2DGen, under the hood, what my real name is, where I'm from or whatever. But if I'm representing myself as one of the Bored Apes or a kaiju or something, now instead of needing a blue check, you have that, whatever the verified profile picture thing would be, is the kind of nod of approval, right? And that doesn't mean that you have a good reputation or that you're an upstanding member of the community, but it does verify that you are indeed a member of the community,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So it was a great point. Like you said, you can walk up to anybody's Lamborghini and snap a picture with it and just copped a new whip, right? All of your followers that you've never met before, they don't know. They
how much Instagram is based
face value.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be that extreme, right? Like when we're all having a bad day and depressed, we don't take a picture of us crying and put it on Instagram like, oh, life sucks, right? You brush up, you take a nice picture like, oh, headed to the gym, and nobody knows you're having this awful day. This is what the entire Web 2 economy is based on. This whole don't believe what you see on Instagram because it looks like everybody's life is happy and blah blah blah. This is poison for society. This is dangerous, and Web 3 I think is fixing that.
There are actually traveling sets that go around. They'll set up in a warehouse or a big space, and it'll be the interior of a private jet. It'll be a Lamborghini parked there against a wall or something, and people will pay $80 an hour to go in and just snap as many pictures as they can, and now they have 2 months worth of Instagram posts.
Well, the PJ and the Lamborghini ain't the flex anymore. It's the Bored Ape. And the moment we have verification, all right, this is so profound to me. I gotta
Once that verification kicks in, you can't fake it. You would be called a fake. And you know what? With only 10,000 of them, or a lot of these projects, only 10,000 of them, and people wanting to hang on to them for that reason, it's going to get real tight out there. And I think
we may have oversupply in the NFT market, but as far as quality projects, that's another supply crisis brewing. If the masses, get into this whole NFT thing, there's 10,000 apes. There's 24,000 punks. That would be including Begone punks, which I consider actual punks. But these are all going to be very desirable properties in the near future. So looking forward to it.
Yep, and there's a lot more people on Facebook than there are good NFTs to use as your profile picture. So. Let's move on to Tom Brady's Autograph NFT platform raises $170 million from Andreessen and other VCs. Celebrities like Tom Brady, The Weeknd, Simone Biles attached. Autograph raises sizable funding and expands its advisory board. This is just one of those cool things that might not be, hardcore in the NFT world and, on Ethereum and whatnot. But again, making people comfortable with the idea. And I think autographs are a great example of things that need to be verified on an immutable ledger, right? This is actually their their autograph. This actually happened. This is where it happened. This is when it happened. And this is who it happened with. Those are all very important things. And they're all very, very difficult to track on traditional collectibles. Like, you know, the fraud market in these arenas are so ripe and so abundant that you know, the autograph platform is definitely looking to clean some of that up. And if you're looking for big names attached to something like this has probably some of the biggest. Obviously, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, The Weeknd, Wayne Gretzky's in there, and you're gonna see a lot of people jump into this. It's you know, Tony Hawk, Naomi Osaka, Derek Jeter, Usain Bolt, like big giants of the sports world.
Dare I say, digital provenance is going to be profound. Yeah, I think that this is Tom Brady is very, very like forward with these things. Wasn't he one of the first celebs to work with DraftKings on a set of NFTs?
Yep.
We know,
and the laser eyes.
I was going to say, we know he likes crypto and his laser eyes, and he was even making fun of himself. Well, like, oh, I heard what, like when he first put out his laser eyes, Bitcoin fell 10 grand. And then like a few weeks later, it was up to 60 or something. And then he was like, oh, I thought Tom Brady laser eyes was the top. Like he gets it, right? Like, I don't know if that was his PR guy telling him to tweet that or whatever, but he gets it. And wow, $170 million raise. You know what? It makes sense to me. Just like you said, I think that you know, when you're trying to value the signature of a player, how do you know how many are out there? What are you going to ask him how many he signed in his career? Like, this is all a supply thing, right? Like,
with the names attached to this, 170 million almost seems like cheap at this point, right? Mm-hmm. Like their name value alone being associated with any kind of project, all in one bundle, like that's massive.
I mean, imagine what this is also going to do for physical autographs, right? If you're a new star, you're the next Derek Jeter or something coming up, all you ever do are these digital autographs for people, but then once in a while you sign an actual ball, right? I mean, this is a smart, if you're thinking about your career in a business sense, there's some very cool implications to this.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, actually, I saw somebody hologram mentioning sports NFTs, you know, going back to the NBA Top Shot days, but being the next thing to blow up. I got the email from the NFL one all day that I've been approved for their beta or whatever. I don't know. I didn't even look at it, but that should be something cool. I got to dig into that a little bit more. So
should be cool. That's free money. I don't know how you got that. I'm a large NBA Top Shot collector, and I've been left out in the cold so far.
Oh, you have? I just assumed that if I did, most other people did too. I don't think I signed up for it overly early.
I don't know what buttons you push.
Check your. Well, I mean, I'm a pretty big deal here on it. No, I have no idea why I would get that over anybody else. But I'll give you the TLDR after I read it. So, GM's Opal, welcome. Next on the docket, real quickly to wrap up the news, we have G2 Esports team launching Solana NFTs as membership pass for fans. This is a huge brand in the esports, the electronic sports or video games world. G2 is definitely one of the top funded teams. They are launching it on Solana, which is not something we normally talk about. But again, this is just a big step forward in terms of branding and exposure to NFTs. They have teams like League of Legends, Counter-Strike. They have a big Rocket League team too. And, you know, this is the exact use case that I think we all imagine for NFTs, is just that that membership pass, that access, that ability to be closer to the team and you know, support your fandom for these teams in you know, participate in the success of them as well. So I think that this is really cool. My biggest excitement about this is, you know, if they're really going all in on this and taking it seriously, this will be mentioned on a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of Twitch streams. They're very, very prominent in those worlds. So a lot of exposure. Unfortunate that's on Solana, but I understand, right? When you're trying to onboard a lot of new people, gas is definitely a concern. Solana might be, you know, a little bit more palatable in that regard.
Well, this has failure written all over it, and failure is spelled Solana. Sorry. my comment on this. Yes, we like the gaming.
Yeah. Okay.
Eventually Solana will be an L2 bridge for Ethereum that is focused on gaming, and obviously this cute little, I don't know, Fortnite group that gets together and plays these RPGs is signing up. That's cool. I don't know much about gaming, so
no, it's all good. It's just, it is a big brand, so I'm just going the route of rising tide lifts all ships here, and leaving it at that. The other thing that we kind of brought up, and we will just shift into Ethereum based NFTs. Again, fucking perfect. Yeah, OpenSea for you. Like you want a better advertisement for LooksRare right now, of which we're not affiliated with. I literally can't get on. Oh, here we go.
Hey, here's a great advertisement. Go to the Ether Orcs floor on LooksRare, and it's 8.9 right now. I like the floor on LooksRare better than the floor on OpenSea. So there's a reason that OpenSea can still get a little business here and there, and it's basically because the UX still needs some improving. I think that LooksRare really focused on the bigger collections, which was smart, like the Bored Apes. And the Cool Cats and the Doodles, because look, that's where the majority of your volume is going to come from. And those are the people who are probably going to suffer through a worse UX to save, what was it? What were the calculations yesterday? 10 grand in total value by selling your ape there versus on OpenSea.
Yeah, it was a substantial amount of money for sure, and just good for the entire NFT ecosystem as well. But I wanted to bring up Ether Orcs because we've been talking a little bit about that. Zug has been on the rise, and I guess we're getting some new.
We're gonna touch $3. I'm lemoning so hard right now. Look at this.
Am I on the wrong chart again? Maybe I am.
We're at 271 right now. You may be on P-Zug.
I'm on P-Zug, yeah.
I'm on the L1 Zug because that's the Zug you can trade for money, not this P-Zug atrocity that they came up with. But Zug is...
You're extra spicy this morning. I love it.
Oh, I'm feeling very...
I'm fucking fired up. Floors are back and free market's angry.
Right. An Instagram project is at 7.5 ETH. You don't think I'm going to be spicy today? So... the Ether Orc allies, which if you look at the blue and the light blue shamans, man, it's all about that light blue shaman. That is one of the rare ones, though. There are some albino shamans as well. So Ether Orcs is reaching a very interesting apex today in a way. The first group of allies will be minting out here within a few hours. The first group of allies were these shamans, which the bend here is they are herbalists. They can make magic potions, and these potions will speed up your raids, all right? Raids are how you acquire currently bone shards, okay? Bone shards are how you make these allies. In the future, it will be how you buy land, okay? So, this game's getting deep and it's getting big. All Genesis Orcs are going to be gifted land. Then the rest of the land will be acquired through bone shards. So Orcs has had quite the journey since originally launching. They were at 5 ETH right off the bat, and they had been anticipated to be 5 ETH. This was a very, very hyped project amongst people in the know. You wouldn't have heard about it from your average Twitter influencer, but this was just one of those, hey, this is going to be a thing, right? It was the first fully on-chain RPG. But after their minting phase, we went right into that brief bear market we had at the end of last year, and you could have picked up Genesis Ether Orcs at 0.4 ETH not but a month ago. And now they're finally getting their recognition. There's actually been a very large Axie player who has dumped the majority of his Axie Infinity assets and just went absolutely ham into Ether Orcs. So there's a few phases launching next after we mint out these shamans, which again is going to end here within the next probably 12 hours, if I had to estimate. There's going to be group raids. Now, this is really interesting, and this is one dynamic in which you could say this game couldn't even exist without L2. Or without Polygon. I don't know if the paper has been released on group raids yet, so I'm not going to go too deep, but essentially this is going to be much more of a community-based action that these orcs can do. Currently, it's pretty much an individual game of you trying to gather resources and, get the rarity up on your orcs and your allies, and you're farming Zug and you're earning bone shards on raids. But soon we're going to have more of this community-based stuff, including down the road player versus player. There isn't really much indication yet on how that's going to work, but I chose kaijus this year as my favorite pick. What's going to make it. We were talking about what are our favorite picks into this year, but I'll tell you, a close second in my mind was Ether Orcs. I am so bullish, not just on the game, which is so fun to play. If you've ever been to their site, it's just one of those old school looking UIs. You feel like you're playing a game from when you were a kid, but also this is historic. And I think whether the game is played 10 years from now or not, these assets are going to be priced like the relics they are, like a first edition Mario cartridge, so to say. So really, really pumped on where Ether Orcs have come from, where they're going, and AlphaMint's involvement, because there hasn't been a group out there that played this game in a smarter, more strategic, and dynamic way. So shout out to everyone who has been part of the AlphaMint horde. I think we've created something amazingly good here, and it's one of my greatest pleasures in NFTs ever, has been playing this game. So shout out to Poof, shout out to John, shout out to the whole team over there. You guys keep killing it.
Yeah. I mean, for those of you who are newer in AlphaMint and or newer to even just this show, Ether Orcs had a moment in time that was very special there, and it was like almost an entire Discord of NFT traders coordinating and gathering together to make the most of this drop. We had so many people that were among like the first 100, 200, 300 into that Discord. All got on the pre-sale list except for myself because I missed it. Thanks a lot for that. But it was such a special time. I mean, everything since then has been great too. We've had tons and tons of wins, but we were a bit of a smaller community back then, and it was just so tight knit, and it just dominated all of the chat and all of the discussion to the point where it got its own room and now has its own thread. I would say for the better part of 2 weeks, probably. And it was a little, I had like a pit in my stomach just from sitting out and missing it, just because the price was so high at first. But this team has put together something really incredible that brought those communities together, and communities really make things sticky. They weathered the bear market. As you mentioned, they got down to 0.4 floor, and now the Genesis are 3-4 ETH, almost back to
they
that
were
all-time
2.9
high.
last time I looked. They got up to 3.4 last night.
Yeah.
Crumb Bum dumped 7.
And if you want any signs that this is kind of levitating above like simple game metas or pixel art meta or all of this stuff, and really just becoming its own entity, its own thing in the space, like Ether Orcs has got to be one of those projects that we mentioned, because it's just been so successful, and that team is just doing such a good job of developing that space. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There's more stuff for you to do. There's more things to participate. As you said, there's going to be group raids going on and whatnot. And they just seem to get it. We've done interviews with them. We have a little bit of a relationship with them. And I mean, they're fantastic people. They're sharp people, and they are building something really, really special here.
I think, as we've mentioned a few times, I'm not a gamer, but from what I understand, some of the best moments in games like World of Warcraft or Fortnite were these large community battles where everyone's going after, say, a universal boss, whether you're independent players or on different teams. There's this central community aspect. And that's kind of what we had there with Orcs in these early minting phases. Like, we knew there were other alpha discords who were trying to strategize and beat it, and we would sit on voice chat for hours at a time, and you couldn't break away. It was not just because it was a lot of work, it was because it was a lot of fun. So I think that this is really the standard in these RPG games, especially the probability roll based ones. We know these are going to get a lot more intricate in their UXs, and I'm sure we're going to have, you'll be able to actually control your players with haptic motion and all that type of stuff coming up eventually. But these are as fun as it gets to me. And, the art, one thing when we saw this like game meta launch towards the end of last year, it was just a bunch of low effort art, and Ether Orcs are amongst the best pixel art in existence. They look great. They even have a little PFP maker I saw R2 messing with.
Yeah, I was clicking around on that. I've never even seen that.
Yeah, well, no, because, that is the one thing you and I always talk about on the show is something PFP-able. And I think that's been our contention with a lot of these 3D projects is it's very hard to make a good 3D piece of art PFP-able. And the little PFP maker the Orcs put up there is so cool, too. You can now kind of zoom in on your Orc, dress him up a bit, throw a background behind him. Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah. Looks good. Another project that has kind of gone through its ebbs and flows in the last month since it's been out, but we have the Coolmans universe. There's some rumors that Crocs is going to be a partnership with them, and Crocs has been a surprisingly big company that's really grown. I mean, Post Malone's been rocking them all over the place too, but a partnership with Crocs could do something pretty special for the species, I guess. And also seeing some stuff about like Klon posting a little doodle thing with a cool cat and a species kind of looking like they're hanging out together and whatnot. Do you have any more color on this topic?
Well, I thought it was really interesting that we have Adidas was the big news last year, then Nike and Artifact, and we're still waiting for clothing and forging from those two entities, whereas it looks like these species Crocs are imminent. So we had known these were on the roadmap. They were talked about in the Species or the Coolmans town hall a few weeks ago, but yesterday it was broken that these are imminent. This is coming any week or any day now, this collaboration with Crocs. And at the same time, you had Vinny Hager, who is a popular cool cat who started his own project called Letters, doing like this little collaboration between Cool Cats and between Coolman's universe, and then Klon tweets it out. There just seemed to be a lot of, whale smoke around this project yesterday. They were sitting at a 0.8 floor, ramped up to 1.1. They've cooled off a little bit, but we're all fans of Coolman's universe here. A lot of us hold those bags. We think that the art is next level. It has Doodles-esque potential. And yeah, this yesterday was very cool. I will be copping my my Coolman's Crocs, no question. High fashion, baby.
Yeah, Crocs have really like somehow in a weird way gone from just being these like little like these shoes that like you're almost shamed if you were wearing them. I have owned a couple of pairs when I used to work as a chef, and they're great chef shoes, but you almost never wore them out in public, that's for sure. But they're gaining mainstream relevance, and like they have like an incredible stock price. There's Crocs stores all over the place now, so that's
the
pretty
kids
hilarious.
wore them. I started wearing them ironically. And then the older people looked at like, oh, the kids are wearing them now. They were cool. And then we were all like, all right, we wear these out in public now. And they were all like, oh my God, I think Dad's wearing them unironically.
They have like charms that you can get on them and shit. What a time to be alive. Oh my God.
Grandpa Willie is asking, how do I get that guy? If you're referring to the species on the screen right now, that is a project called Coolman's Universe. His characters are called species, and yeah, he has a deal with Crocs.
I don't think that there's no actual Crocs trade on them though, unless I missed that, right? Oh no, they don't have any body on the PFPs, so that would make sense.
Right? No. There's no Croc trait. This was just another announcement, but yeah, they have a very cool roadmap as well. It's one of our favorite projects. Coolman Universe. Coolman, yeah.
Coolman Coffee Dan is a fucking bright guy too. He's good shit. CryptoBatz minted the first tier of their pre-sale. And I'm going to click on OpenSea and cross my fingers that it's still working. Yes. So 2,400 of them have been minted. They're holding a 2 ETH floor, although I will refresh it and see what happens. Yeah, that's not going to work very well. Oh, 1.93. So yeah, there we go. OpenSea seems to be back up. This has been a little bit of a confusing. There's like 3 tiers of mints, so this is going to go on. The supply definitely is going to go higher, but it is crazy to me how many of these, plus 2 ETH floors we're seeing pre-reveal these days.
Yeah, and the rarities here too. I believe the tier that was just minted is the rarest. Like I got to admit, I'm a little confused on their process here because I'm not deep in the Discord. But I got to say, like you said, this is just another one of those surprises. And in the sense of, I'll tell you a story that happened to me last night. I actually went down to the club yesterday to do a small consulting for the homie on his upcoming NFT project. And one of the first things he said and he's not deep, okay? This guy is not deep in NFTs. He's an artist just trying to break in. And what he said to me was, hey, you see these CryptoBatz by Ozzy? I was like, oh, okay, that's very interesting, right? Because Ozzy Ozbourne, Sharon Osbourne, they all have presence on traditional social media, right? These people have millions of followers on places like Instagram. Well, I'm starting to believe that's actually bringing a lot of people into the NFT world. And here's why. We talked about HAPEBeast yesterday. We're talking about CryptoBatz today. Well, we know we have a tool up in the Moon Lounge called the Whale Watchers wallet. And I'm pretty sure I saw 2 purchases of each project total. Okay. And when we see a hype NFT drop, and we're talking like an inside hype NFT drop, like NanoPass, right? Like NanoPass was something every NFT person knew about, but no normies were coming up to me like, hey, you hear about this NanoPass or whatever, right? You would see the whale watching ding, 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 ding as Sneaky Ninja and Pranksy and all these people are aping into the project. We saw 1 HAPEBeast sale yesterday. We saw 2 CryptoBatz sales yesterday. So that's not bearish to me. That's indicating that the only way that these projects are having these massive floors is that they're bringing in outside money. This isn't NFT money. These aren't NFT people aping into these. And I'm sure there are traders and I'm sure there are some NFT people that are getting into these. But I really think the whale watching stream is a good indicator that there's outside money that are coming into NFTs now. So quite the opposite of a liquidity suck. I think these could be liquidity injections. I think I'm taking a lot of bullish signals from a project like HAPEBeast, a lot of bullish signals from a project like CryptoBatz. I will say I love the art on CryptoBatz a lot more. And I do think that they have some interesting ideas. I believe you're going to be able to fuse some of your current NFTs with your bat. So there is
get bitten by them and
get bit by them. And there's some cool stuff with this CryptoBatz project. It did not feel like the standard celebrity cash grab. It felt like someone conceived a really cool project and thought that it would be great if Ozzy was part of it. That's what it's coming off as to me. This feels very NFT proficient. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to be watching that. I have a correction to make. Kyle Ringer pointed out that silver and gold just minted yesterday. Bronze is minting today, and public is tomorrow. Okay. So there's definitely going to be some more to come for that.
Is it different tiers of bats, or is that just what they're calling like the early allow list spots? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just the tiers of which like you were allowed to mint.
You're allowed to mint. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I could be completely wrong about that. That was one we tried to make some connections with, but didn't quite get a hold of. You mentioned HAPEBeast. That's definitely going to be the biggest. It's just their minting stage. Thank you for confirming that. I was
thank you.
90% sure that they just had the the different times for people. HAPEBeast, definitely the big topic of yesterday, and one that probably, I don't want to say we're going to backtrack on, but it definitely got that one slightly wrong. Now, I do want to just reiterate that if we had been on the pre-sale list, I would have happily minted these for 0.2 regardless. But I think that we were in consensus that this would probably be, 2, maybe 3 ETH pre-reveal. And boy, were we wrong about that. But as you mentioned kind of it while we were talking about CryptoBatz, there is something interesting about this, and it is the fact that we haven't seen a lot of whales sweeping the floors of these, pumping it up, scooping them up. Sometimes you'll get that Pranksy or Shamdu or all of those people. They'll just start buying up anytime they reach below 6 ETH or something and try and hit that 1 of 1 lottery or just kind of add to their collection. That hasn't seemed to be in the case, and yet here we are at a 7.5 ETH floor, almost 11,000 ETH in volume traded. And add on to that on LooksRare, last I checked, is 500, but that was yesterday, so it's got to be more than that. These things are fucking flying. We've seen over 8 ETH sales a couple of times. It hasn't really pressed further than that. Thank you so much, OpenSea, again. But yeah, here we are, 24 hours or so since the mint, and there we are, 8 ETH floor again. So I have some ideas that, like, this project was something that attracted a lot of people, maybe from Instagram, a lot of hype. We mentioned that there was 500,000 people in their Discord, and then kind of compared that to the fact that there's like 250,000 daily active NFT users, and the math wasn't really adding up there. But in hindsight now, and everything's 2020 in hindsight, maybe this is an instance of, there are new people coming into the space. They are being sucked into these hype vacuums. And, for anybody that's new to the NFT space, to get in on a mint like this for 0.2, or even anybody that's not new, but floating low liquidity, to get in on this and get in at 0.2, mint one of them, and now be able to sell it for 8 ETH, right? 40x their initial investment. This is going to be a great redistribution of ETH, right? Most people are not loading up on these at 8 ETH. I certainly am not. I don't know very many people that are just going to, peel off 40 ETH to grab 5 of these. There are a lot of people that have a lot of ETH, especially if they got in early, and sure, they're not on the whale watchers. They're not on Twitter being influencers and stuff like that. So there is a lot of money, but I really do believe now, looking at this is a great liquidity infusion into the market for people who are newer to the space or floating low liquidity that won the lottery. Remember, there's going to be 7,000 or 8,000 of these, right? You could only mint one if you got on the pre-sale list. And so, there's 8,000 people, of which probably a good percentage of them are not whales, that are now faced with the decision to either sell for 8 ETH or hold these things for higher. I'm not going to tell you what to do. If I had minted these for 0.2, I would have probably sold already. But that's just me. But yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot of people that now are flush with ETH, and they're going to go start spending it on other NFTs. And I think that's why we're seeing some of those floors creep up. Lemons was up, Coolmans was up, that we look at a lot. In my portfolio, the Illuminatis were up a little bit. Critters is having a little bit of a run on the plots and stuff like that. Those are just things that I'm constantly looking at, and things seem to be getting a little bit more firm. I think that HAPEBeast is a big part of that.
Yeah, and unlike Cobain, I do not concede defeat as of yesterday. I think that I stand by all my calls from yesterday. If these are above 3E after reveal, I will quit NFTs. So I will hand in my letter of resignation next week. The top is in on these. These are going much lower from this point. Now, that said, I think this is as great an indication of the NFT market as could be. Okay, this is really mainstream adoption incarnate, and we're seeing it happen in front of our eyes. And boy, there's going to be a ton of these stories this year, and this is the exact type of mainstream fodder that's going to get all the people who weren't into NFTs go, wait, what? You paid 0.2 for something that turned into, well, they'll say it in dollars because no one knows what the hell 0.2 is, but they'll be like, you turned 0.2 into 7.5. Like this, these are the type of stories that make our industry. Also, this is going to show you how different the industry is going forward, right? These are the type of things that are actually going to take us mainstream, and it's what the market is going to look like. Whereas we are used to the traditional NFT market, these Instagram stories, whether it's Primal Apes, whether it's Crypto Bulls, whether it's HAPEBeast, these are going to be the new cooks. And it's largely going to be money coming from the outside, coming into NFTs, and that just increases the pie for everybody. So I was super heartened by what I saw yesterday, and truly a phenomenon. Really, really awesome.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm okay with being wrong. I have no ill will towards anybody that minted these and has some success, whether you're holding them or selling them. The one thing that is a little frustrating to me about this, I guess this brand or this drop, is that they priced it at 0.2, which is pretty expensive for an NFT drop, but that's okay. It had the hype to do it, and I at no point would have ever doubted it to mint out at that price. They probably could have gone higher, to be honest with you. But they pulled in from 8,000 mints, quite a lot of ETH. I was a little disheartened to see that the royalties were 10% on this. I think that's if you want to talk about liquidity sucks, and you want to talk about where the ETH goes, when you add up the 10% on the HAPEBeast and the 2.5% that OpenSea takes, I mean, it is siphoning out a lot of money out of the ecosystem. I mean, it's obviously one of the reasons why we're bullish on LooksRare is because not only because it's lower at 2%, but it is redistributed to the Looks stakers. I don't know why projects go as high as 10%, but I personally, I hate it. I'm really
they come from outside the NFT world, right? I think that, and it's not like it makes sense in the way that, like, I feel like companies who look at this and see the royalty feature and approach it from the outside, they don't understand, right? That is something that especially the new crop of NFT traders don't appreciate, but it certainly didn't affect their secondary sales. So, this company banked yesterday with a bunch of, not great. I don't think you're going to see these in PFP balls. Like, I'm sure there's going to be some devoted fans who wear them, but they don't really stand out. The commons were a little underwhelming to me that people were posting previews of, and that's just how I feel about most of the 3D art. So I don't see a lot of CloneX either. I just don't think it works well.
Actually, that's a good point. You don't see a lot of CloneX.
I just don't think NFTs they work well. Yeah, I think bold simplicity is what works well in a PFP.
I've got a different theory about CloneX.
Yeah, and that's not to say that 3D won't have its place, but it's going to have its place in the metaverse. And quite frankly, we're a little bit away from that. So I still see 2D bold PFPs as having their moment for a while.
Yeah, I mean, once the like air quoting metaverse kind of comes into play, the interoperable, where you actually have a character and all of these different NFT projects can be in one existing space. 3D is going to be very important, and I think that some of that is a hedge on, or not a hedge, a bet on this coming to fruition eventually, and having one of the OG HAPEBeasts or Invisible Friends or any of these projects that are coming out now, and are going to be looked back upon as historic eventually. They're going to come in good price.
One of these HAPEBeasts or one of these non-fungible people came up to me in the metaverse, I would shank first and ask questions later. These are scary. These are the scariest things I've ever seen in my life. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm going to correct myself real quick. The royalties on Hape are prime, and or on HAPEBeasts are 5%. That was a gaffe there, so I should have looked into that before I took somebody's statement at face value. So I went to go buy one on OpenSea. I'm not actually buying it, but the royalties are 5%. So I got to backtrack on that. My apologies.
Now here's an angle. We know that there are going to be some surprises this year. What if HAPEBeast reveals and half of them are wearing Supreme gear? What if this was really a Supreme project all along? And then everybody be like, oh, this is the Supreme branded, NFT project. Shit, they're going to go to 20 ETH overnight, 30 ETH overnight. No
question. I wouldn't doubt at all that these things would just absolutely explode. I mean, we were kind of joking about that in the DGen Dojo this morning. Like, do I think that Supreme's coming out and this is like a Supreme branded project, or that there's a partnership? Venom made a good point that like this company and these people kind of don't have the swag in the NFT world to command a supreme partnership. But I do agree with you. I think that there's going to be a point in time where, to make things kind of fair and equitable and not just favoring all of the whales, you're going to see some of these big brands or big personalities drop stealth mints that you have no idea that these are affiliated with them. You're going to go through the whole mint process, the pre-reveal, and then boom, like one of these is really going to surprise us. I think we often love to say that Banksy would be, a prime target to do something like that, and, do something ridiculous after the fact with it too. But yeah, I mean, do I think it's HAPE? I think that there's a non-zero chance. I don't think it's high, but I wouldn't rule it out of the possibility. But, with CloneX kind of holding back that Nike deal until after the reveal as this kind of brilliant floor management marketing style move, I think that you are definitely going to see that more and more and more.
Yeah,
and maybe HAPEBeast has, maybe there's things that people know about with this project that we don't. I don't know.
And don't get me wrong, this is not supreme. HAPEBeast will not be the one that does this, but it will happen this year, and there will be some pretty amazing things that catch us off guard, i.e. Banksy's. And I keep hearing people say that Banksy is already doing an NFT with particles. No. A lot of people are using the Banksy name and taking Banksy art and doing some sort of NFT fractionalization with it so they could have Banksy in the title of whatever they're doing. Banksy has not done his first NFT project yet, or has not revealed it yet. And maybe we all own it and don't know it. So we'll see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Banksy has
Space Loot. Pull back the curtain.
Oh my God, please don't. I can only get so excited this morning. No, honestly, I you know what, if I had to like pick, somebody brought up, Ashtray brought up the company HAPEBeast, right? That's a big brand on Instagram and whatnot, 10 million followers. I just looked up, I could see this being their project that they self-dropped. I again have no indication that that's actually the case, but obviously it's a play on HAPEBeast and apes, right? So you never know. You never know with these things. And I do just think that it leads to the larger conversation that this is going to happen eventually. And it is going to have some bags secured for some people.
That's going to be a great day the next day when we come in on the show and whatever happened.
But the key is, right, like I would imagine that this has to mean you have to hold it post-reveal, right? Yeah. Like you got to diamond hand the fuck out of this, because I think everybody
going to enjoy this new paradigm. I'm the only one who holds post-reveal.
For sure. And you know what? I mean, it's common for the floors to drop, or it's common for the floor to drop after the reveal, for the simple fact that baked into the pre-reveal price is the shot at a rare or a one of one, right? That's why they command a premium. It's why Pokemon cards that are unwrapped and the old ones, you saw Logan Paul just get ripped off of $3.5 million for Pokemon cards that were unopened, command such a premium because there's the shot at, unboxing something incredibly rare and incredibly valuable that supersedes the price that you paid for it. But it's gambling, right? Like that is the roulette you're playing with the reveal. So, do I think that these continue to climb through the reveal if the reveal doesn't happen for a little bit? I don't know if it cools off or not. I think this is like a weak reveal. I think I saw somebody mention, but like I just it's hard for me to believe unless they've got something behind the curtain that these reveal and then they go directly vertical. If I came to you
today and said, I have a play for you, give me 8 ETH and I'll make you 10, would you give me the 8 ETH?
Sorry, say that again.
If I had a play for you today and I said to you, give me 8 ETH and I'll make you 10 ETH, would you risk 8 ETH for 2?
Oh, no.
There you go. So that's how I feel about it.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out. I was just like, is this a real thing? Like,
all right, maybe that was money now.
I'm like, are you just going to invest it in looks?
I thought I would. Yeah, I thought I would quickly answer Luca's questions. Will price at 0.3, and I believe it will price at 0.3 because they are not Cool Cats or Dave Yacht Club. They're not known entities within NFTs releasing their NFT collections, but they were zero until they announced that they were, mint passes for this recent one. Invisible Friends has the most hype of any collection, with the exception of Cool Pets coming into the first quarter. We know it's going to light up the whale watching stream in a way we haven't seen any other project do. Again, the exception of Cool Pets will probably do next week. But I think that it will mint around 0.3. I think that they will take a little more than HAPEBeast did. It's only a 5,000 PFP collection. So I think that Invisible Friends will price around 0.3. I don't think they'll go higher than that because they don't have much history in the NFT world. But I think it will still be an expensive mint. And I think 0.3 will be a deal for that mint if you can weasel your way on that whitelist. Are you muted, sir, or is it me?
I am, yeah, sorry. I had the intuition that the Invisible Friends would be somewhere around 0.25 for a mint. So
Okay.
yeah, I think 0.3
right.
is not out of the realm of possibility. I don't hate companies that have that kind of excitement and that hype and are doing something really unique, pricing at that much. I mean, as long as they're upfront about it and whatnot, it kind of is what it is. But yeah, I don't think Invisible Friends will have any issue selling it at 0.3.
Oh yeah, that's gonna go instant. One block. Well, I guess it's whitelisted or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Whitelisted, and it'll all go at 0.3. There won't be any left for the public. I promise.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you to Hologram for pulling up this article for me. It just slipped under my radar on Decrypt, but NBA Top Shot maker Dapper Labs is launching the NFT platform for the UFC too. UFC is, just such a massive brand and like such a force in, entertainment, fighting and all that stuff. I'm not a big UFC head myself, but I could see those moments doing really well, like those big knockout moments, the championship moments, or somebody's 10th win in a row, all of that stuff. Like and UFC fans are incredibly rabid about the MMA as well.
I've always wanted to collect naked pictures of men sweating on top of each other. This is a great. I don't get these in comparison to like baseball cards or Top Shot, but I guess there's a very large fan base here, so I think they'll be successful.
Yeah, I mean the UFC from a business standpoint has been one of the best performing sports franchises, sports entities in the world. I mean they really came into onto the scene about 12-15 years ago, and it's just been a steady up only for their viewership and their content and putting it out and all that stuff. Like I have watched the UFC. I'm not I couldn't tell you who's holding the titles or anything right now, but I do know that they have a huge fan base, again, that really is involved in the collectibles and consuming the content of the sport. That this will be a big deal to bring a new user base online that maybe isn't typically in the NBA Top Shot and the NFL space.
Yeah, definitely. I don't like to watch fighting, but I think that a lot of people do. These will be great.
Yeah, I mean,
very painful what people go
What's
through.
that?
I don't understand who would put their body through this.
Yeah, I mean,
torture, but it is not for me to judge.
Clay Oglesby points out the fact that fighting is like the most universal sport in the world, and it does. Like you really, when you understand, obviously there's rules in UFC and boxing and all of that stuff, but when you understand that these two people are in the ring and they're swinging at each other, you immediately know what the object is, right? Like you know what they're trying to do, and it's it's a sport that you're not really, honestly, you don't go out and fight people. You're going to fuck yourself up. But they train very, very hard for, they take very seriously, and they are incredible athletes.
It'd be different if they didn't train. That would be something would be interesting. I want to see two random people who haven't trained get in the ring and fuck each other. These are machines. These are killing machines.
Phrasing, my friend.
Why are you training humans to be these massive muscular killing machines and pitting them against each other? This seems illegal. This doesn't seem like right. Okay, I mean, I don't know.
No, it's fine. I get that side of the argument too. I was more of a boxing fan personally, but That's me. So yeah, very interesting and stuff. And that's I can't imagine that that's going to do poorly. The UFC is a huge brand.
One of my favorite GIFs of all time is Joe Rogan and his crew reacting to something that happened in the UFC ring, and people just put all sorts of things there.
The GIF, yeah.
You see, Elaine agrees with me, and this is why FMC is we'll just. What's the next thing you have on the docket there?
Colton, you're late. Yeah, no. You know what? We're getting into Q&A time. I did have we didn't draw parallels to Mecca with Ape, but that's okay. CryptoBatz. I just had that conversation on the Twitter thing about FOMO, like that reverse FOMO of like I could have put more in the money that you leave on the table. Andrew Wang kind of made a half drunk Twitter thread yesterday or early this morning. Sorry. And one of the things that he mentioned was lately I've been obsessing about the fact that I was given the opportunity to invest early in Looks, and I only had 7 ETH or so liquid, which came out to 167,000 tokens, and at this point that's like 1.5, almost $2 million. A whole $1 million at current prices. Yeah, so somewhere in there. Money I've never made before, but lamenting the fact that he didn't just go all in. I know it's one of those like, first world problems. You only made $1 million. You could have made 2 or 3 or 4. One of the really hard things about NFT trading, and I don't think it should be taken lightly, is that, it's easy to brush off some of the degen plays that go to zero. I've definitely minted a couple of rugs and they're sitting in my hidden folder and I don't really think too much about them. I don't really go back there and go like, oh God, that's 0.2 ETH that I really wish I had right now. Of course, I wish I hadn't minted them. But yeah, I mean, it's so hard. I saw, Crypto Covens was one that I wanted to talk about too. That was one that was floating around Alpha Mint for quite some time. I know people loaded up on them. Some managed to get on the mint. It was a really extended mint process. And they ran up, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure some people peeled some off at 2 or 3 or 4 or 0.4, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and that might have been a nice little win. But now they're sitting at a 1.7 ETH floor, and there's that FOMO that kind of sets in of like, oh, I'm such an idiot, right? Like I left all this money on the table, and I think it really is. I think it really highlights the need for people to be going into projects and minting, holding and trading with a plan, right? And I think that if you could formulate a plan that works for you, works for your liquidity situation, works for your risk tolerance, and then you execute on that plan, hopefully you can go to bed sleeping all right. But it is really hard to watch. It really is hard to watch a project where you left money on the table. I know you have some interesting feelings about this too, especially tying it back to playing poker professionally.
Right. And it's all psychological because the money you didn't make is not real. All right. This is we drum it into our heads that we would have made it had we done this and this and this. We don't know what the future would have been had we made different moves. Butterfly effect, everything affects everything. It's really just a psychological exercise. But in general, you are so early in NFTs. Selling anything is a stupid idea. I try to tell everyone every day, and you're all convinced that this trading is going to work. And I'll just sit back and watch. But I am telling you, you are so early that selling anything is the wrong strategy. But that's it.
I mean, yeah, I get it. A lot of these are going to be looked back upon. By the way, I threw the Restream link up in the AM show chat on our Discord if anybody wants to hop up on stage with us. And if you guys want to start throwing some questions up in the chat, we could start looking at some stuff like we did yesterday. We tried to keep the content portion of the show a little bit shorter today. HAPEBeast and OpenSea being down definitely dominated more of the talk. But yeah, going back to that idea of like never selling or whatnot. I mean, if you have constant infusion of liquidity, you have a great job and you can continue to buy more ETH to sit in on these longer term investments, I think I would agree with that. But you also have to kind of make this a self, if it's part time or even if you're doing it full time, it has to be like a self-sustaining bankroll too, right? Like, is that what you're saying? Like you just mint and never sell?
For the most part, I think that would be the smart again, I mean, this was not a trading situation. I understand that trading is a different strategy. I just find buy and hold to be a lot more profitable in NFTs. The thing is, I don't mint 99% of the things that are being minted on a daily basis. It's a different strategy. I don't. My point is wrong. I think everyone should be a trader. I'm not. I don't have enough.
No, sorry. I'm not.
I don't think you are. I just realized that the mental gymnastics I have to do to defend this are not in me right now. I think everyone should play into everyone should play into their natural style. Would be my best.
No. I mean, you have a trading style that works really well, and I mean, I wish I had some of the wins in the conviction plays that you end up having. My point wasn't that it was wrong. I just it's I was just saying, like, if you never sell, like, you could eventually run the risk of running out of any kind of liquidity to keep participating in new stuff, I guess, is my point.
And the question is, are we still in the era of opportunity cost, right? There's so many opportunities that pop up on a daily basis. You want to be liquid for all of them? Well, it looks to me like 99% of stuff goes to zero. And it's much better to curate what you're choosing and minting. And by being not liquid, I'm forced to not mint most of the things. All my money's in JPEGs. But guess what? They're in good JPEGs.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the things that you're second to none at doing is going and finding the depressed floors of good quality projects that exist and are ripe for a comeback for a lot of the reasons.
I hate hype.
What's that?
I hate hype, and I love it when people are too bearish on something. That was just my and again, that's my it plays into how I am in real life. You just have to play into what is your natural personality in life. I act that way in life anyway, so it works out for me. But you just have to do, trading is a journey of self, and we are all different selves. So that journey is what is going to fishy friends. Good, nice segue there. A lot of people like this fishy friends. NFT, but I saw the art. I was like, okay. It had like 1,000 people in the Discord, and I saw the art, and I was not motivated to join and figure it out. And now they're sitting at like 15,000 Twitter followers, closed Discord, hardest whitelist to get. Blah 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 blah.
This is on
Fishy Friends. Yeah, we gotta find the Fishy Friends. This is gonna be a hot mint coming up. They're cute. They look like the fishies, and. Yeah.
I'm just looking on Twitter. I made the mistake of searching in Google. Fishy friends. Yeah.
Nice, you got on the Fishy Fam list. Congrats, Brian. Maybe you could during the AMA, or you could type in some cool facts about the Fishy Friends.
Yeah. Do you want to throw also their Twitter handle on there? I don't know why this has been so hard for me to find, but Cass also jumped up on stage, so I'm going to bring him up. GM, my friend.
GM, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yes.
Cool. No, I'm just driving at the moment, so I thought I'll jump in and say hey and listening to you for the past hour, which is pretty cool. I wanted to I wanted to say that I kind of agree with FMC's theory in regards of kind of purchasing and holding. To flip is good sometimes if you got a good flip, but like there's some projects that I've got that I just can't get rid of them because I'm one, emotionally attached, and two, I believe in the project that it will go further in the long term. So I think holding is a good idea as well. Although a lot of people do think, to be liquid and to flip is a good thing. And in regards of Fishy Friends, their Discord is hectic.
In a good way, or you mean like it's a little too much?
I think it's, when you say GM and then 10 people say GM back, and by the time you get the notifications, you can't. You can't. It's just too much. But I think there's going to be a lot of hype, and I think it's going to move. But then we don't know until it comes around, do we? I mean, look at Squiggles. Everyone thought Squiggles was going to be a cook, and now they've got no art. So it's like, yeah.
Curious case. I'm excited to see what happens there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
finding my way
100%.
into
is good. Is
the
it
fishing
saying
fam
anything?
Discord. What's that?
I'm wondering if it's saying anything. You know what they look like? They look like those sea monkeys on the sea monkey package that
Yeah,
you would buy as a
yeah.
kid. They're cute.
I
I
like
was
them, man.
I was getting like a don't kill me for saying this, but like the Cool Cat vibe with the line work too, a little
Yes,
bit. Like it
yes.
definitely takes us some inspiration with like the little gaps in there and whatnot. Cool Cats does that a lot.
That gap in the Cool
100%.
Cat bothers the shit. I don't know why. My eye is always. I know it's artistic and
The
it's,
gap?
the gap bothers the shit out of me. I don't.
Yeah.
I love the Cool Cats where their headgear is covering that gap. I don't know. That's just my personal. It is subjective. Nobody else should think this way. I just telling you my personal.
Yeah, they do.
Another
they
thing
do
I'm-
use that quite a bit. Yep. Sorry, Cass, go ahead.
I was gonna. Sorry, I was gonna ask. In regards of Rebel bots, have you guys looked into them even further since they've collabed with Unisoft?
That's incredible. I heard that. Do you have information for us on it? I don't know anything about the specifics with RebelBots.
RebelBots is basically going to be like a Web2 mobile game, which will be on. It will be on Web2, but you'll be able to earn. It's a play-to-earn game.
Cool.
The game developers between them have, on previous projects, have ranged between 2.7 million downloads to 150 million downloads.
Yeah, I
they've
remember
only
you
recent-
talking about them having some really successful mobile apps for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So they've announced the partnership with Ubisoft. Ubisoft are backing them, but there's also going to be other announcements, and there's a rumor going around at the moment that Microsoft is getting involved.
Right.
But we will see in the next couple of days when they release announcements. But there is words going around that Microsoft is also getting involved in this project.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that there's a lot of smoke pointing to Microsoft right now with the Blizzard Activision acquisition, and it wasn't highlighted a ton that it was Web3 centric in terms of what they're planning on doing. But I was listening to a news podcast this morning that has nothing to do with crypto or NFTs, and they were talking about the merger, and they naturally brought it towards Web3 and the metaverse, right? Like that was the direction that they saw it going into. And that play, I was talking with Free Market yesterday too. Pulled up a little blurb from one of the executives of Microsoft's gaming division talking about the metaverse and how he believes, I'm going to try and pull this up real quick, how he believes that the metaverse already exists. People are already interacting in these ways, and that the first step, and the Free Market has said this a bunch of times too, the first step is going to be these existing properties utilizing Web3 first and not the other way around. But Microsoft Gaming, Phil Spencer was his name, has argued that the quickest route into the metaverse is through infrastructure that game platforms like Minecraft have already created, and that's Free Market and I are both in on Critters, which is a Minecraft P2E thing that we're both very bullish on. I think that this sentiment is really pointing towards things like World of Warcraft and maybe some of these apps that you're talking about, Cass, being a part of it.
I believe so. I've been bullish on them since I think October when I got in, which ain't a bad cook really. I bought in at 0.05, and because one of mine's pretty rare, I think the floor on it is 2.5 ETH at the moment. So I'm happy with it. But I think later on, when they release the game, they're releasing the beta game within the next month, I'm not mistaken, and they're going to be releasing the real game in Q2. So just want to watch out for. Oh, and by the way, before I go, because I am driving, I ever since finding out that you are the artist for Star Wars, dude.
I'm not the artist. I'm not the artist. I help with some of it.
Yeah, but part of the artist, so you created parts of it. Hey, your work is sick, dude. Like,
thank you.
Really, no, honestly, because whenever I see good art, you have to appreciate it. You just have to fucking appreciate it, and you done a stellar job, dude, man. Like, you're making me stay up because of your work. You're making me fuck up my sleep, fuck up my marriage, fuck up my life. Yeah. So I thank you very much for doing that, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm
Well,
glad
they
to be
have that effect on people.
Whoa! I'm glad to be the part of the destruction of your life.
I'll tell you something. Yeah, well, hey, it happens, isn't it? The funniest comment of the day, which got me in stitches and nearly made me have an accident, was when Free Market was talking about sweaty men on top of each other. If you like to collect that shit, that's you, innit? I couldn't stop laughing.
I was obviously kidding. I know how big a property the UFC is. It's just never been my bag, so I thought I'd give some entertaining.
Dude, it was fucking hilarious, dude, man. Absolutely hilarious. But look, I'm gonna go because I don't want to have another accident, and I'll keep listening, and I'll speak to you guys soon, okay?
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Your UFC commentary is getting some good play.
I like it. Ooh, but look at this. Did you see, we forgot to do a little Critters talk today. There was some block announcements yesterday, which we're both big block fans here. And we know that they're producing a little more block than I think they anticipated due to a few things. And they've been on a charge to correct that. So yesterday, they're changing the way block generation is because there was a glitch that was allowing people to rent the critters to themselves, which would allow you to both stack your passive block that you earn and earn even more from the get. Like you'd be double dipping, so to say. And it wasn't giving you the diminishing returns that you're supposed to have when you have multiple critters in your wallet.
And plus you were getting that 30% kickback because you rented it to yourself on the your initial account that you rented it from and to. So yeah, like you said, there was definitely a little bit more generation. So that should be interesting, kind of slow down a little bit as the price of the plots continues to increase.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And we saw a nice little plot sweep yesterday. There's really two things you can do with block. You can burn it by buying land, or you can sell it into the LP. And I think until there's some more options of what to do with block, the price will remain relatively depressed. I do think the news we've seen in block maybe over the last week or so has prevented it from going any lower. So I do think it's helping to stabilize it at the very least.
Yeah, they also mentioned that they're going to cap the actual amount of block that exists as well. So I don't know if they're just trying to figure out the tokenomics behind that or whatnot, but that's pretty encouraging too, because if you don't continue to have these burn mechanisms and then you have all these things staked and they're just generating in perpetuity, the inflation starts to take over, and it just becomes worthless. So this is really interesting to me. The other thing that's cool is they are going to be integrating an in-game economy where there's exchange for block. I'm assuming you'll be a trade and transfer items for block. Plots are going to be able to be staked for block soon too, which is pretty cool. So I've seen people loading up on plots there. I'm just kind of scrolling around the map. This is actually the critters map that's updated like almost in real time too. So it's cool that you can see all the people building on their plots and whatnot. But
Sorry, I was just going to say, I'm taking much more of a profit approach to this game. Unlike Orcs, where I'm max participation. I take all my Zug, I use it to play the game. I'm not siphoning off anything as like an interest payment, so to say. With Critters, I have a completely different strategy. I don't really play Minecraft. I don't plan on building anything or doing anything crazy with my plot. So I'm really trying to figure out maximum EV in this game. And right now, where the LP is, I think block has kind of put in its lows. I really don't see it going much below 20 cents at this point. So I'm just wondering whether the better play here is to buy land or put it into the LP. Because, you put it into the LP here at 25 cents. I think it's going to go back up to $1, which is already a 4x on top of all the, fees that you get to collect from being in the LP. So I'm wondering here if the play is to be adding my block to the LP at what I think is pretty much a low, or if buying land is the. I've been doing both so far, but recently, the last week, I've just been stacking block and trying to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's like the easiest kind of play with it, to be honest with you. The Typically, if you kind of just do the math on it, even if you include gas, the price of plots will be slightly higher than the price that it would take to buy block, mint, unstake, and then sell. There's a tiny arb opportunity there sometimes. I guess the biggest thing is that if you're just holding block, the block is going to be a lot more liquid because you could just hit the sell button anytime you want. Whereas, you got to kind of play the plots game of like, is it going to sell? Are people looking for specific space? Et cetera, et cetera. But for the most part, what I've seen is just them reaching a pretty close level of parity. If the price of block goes up, you'll see a lot of plots start getting bought, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not sure. I tend to agree with your play of like you just renting these out and doing a little cash out on the LP every once in a while. The LP it's getting a little bit bigger. It was a little bit thin. You can really move the price with some sells or buys as well. So but it does seem to have like, what's that?
There are people adding. I mean, I own 9% of the LP at the end of last week, and now it's 3%. So there's definitely people adding into the LP right now. I do think I think it's a play. I've just been trying to do the math and figure out which is slightly more profitable, buying and bundling that land or adding to the LP. Here's the other consideration. Super easy to get your money out of the LP. It's a few clicks, right? To sell land, even if it's, even if it moves, it probably going to take you a few hours or maybe a little longer. So not quite as liquid in your land.
Yeah, for sure. It's with Pranksy and Becker hanging around that project though. Pranksy was minting a whole bunch of plots, presumably with the block that he's probably earned. I don't know. I would imagine he probably has some people playing for him or something. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, they're taking positions in that kind of that metaverse. So, and great tie back into Microsoft being pretty bullish on these IPs in terms of how they fit into the future world, really.
We need a few more parameters than that, sir. Grandpa Willie. I could tell you a bunch of things under 3 ETH. I don't know your time horizon. And do you mean, when you say under 3, do you mean something that's 1 or something that's 0.1? And let us know your time horizon. I'm sure we have some interesting projects we could talk about. Now, this one here, Star Catchers.
Definitely watch out for this.
Star Catchers is eye-catching. This is like candied sex for the soul. I love these things. They strike the right tone. I think they'll be there at the right moment. Love these Star Catchers. I believe the Discord is still closed. This is a project that knows its hype, that is dripping people in. Getting on the star list is kind of engagement based, but they don't want fake engagement. It's not about hitting a certain level. It's about being in the community, being present, being helpful, and you'll get noticed by the mods. One of the mods over there is a good friend of AM, and I think that this project has a lot going for it. I've seen some very important people talking about it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the Discord was closed, and they keep doing these little Discord invite links. But yeah, this is a train that is rolling for sure.
It looks good.
Yeah, no, I can't remember if you're in the Discord. Are you on the pre-sale list? Is that right?
There's some good news. There's going to be some good news for everybody in AlphaMint soon. I'm not on that allow list yet, but we'll see.
Gotcha. Oh, cool. Love to hear that as well. Maybe we can get someone like this on the show sometime. Yeah. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue. We've got some things brewing. I don't want to say anything in public yet.
Fair enough. Yeah, but Starcatcher is definitely a really cool one. I saw you guys mentioning that. Hologram saying there's one collection that will be an obvious future blue chip that's around 0.3 right now for no other reason other than the space isn't ready for it and it's non-fungible people. I haven't actually looked at what's been going on with that lately.
So you have to understand the apes that are in our DGen dojo. These are
I love the NFT.
These are monkeys. They look at something like NFP. They go, there's actually people that don't look like us. This is social justice. Somebody like Lady Gaga is going to want this because one of them, is whatever. No. These are not going to be adopted by famous celebrities. These are strikingly frightening, realistic skin tone images of people that, yes, while they're very representative of a wide swath of the human population, I do not believe we are ready for the equality, social justice angle here quite yet. I don't think that's a reason people are going to buy these. And these are.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
I think there's a great way
on it one
to
way or another.
Diversity without striking fear into the heart of anybody who checks out your floor.
Oh my god! I think I just smashed my phone. Perfect.
I'll take credit for that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, you know what? I often just have this like feeling that when you're talking about the metaverse and you're talking about the why did the music stop? Who you want to be in the metaverse.
You looked at that floor. What do you mean? Why'd the music stop?
No, it's just like, I think that like the people are going to be looking for like even just less human, realistic stuff, like more of like honestly, like I do think the HAPEBeasts fit really well into that. I know you said you'd be running in from them in a dark alley, but I just, you know what, like if
field, I'd be running from them.
If I had the opportunity to be running around a metaverse right now, like, am I going to be wearing an avatar that I think looks as close to me as possible? Like, that's not really what I'm looking for, right? No, I honestly, hologram. Like, I'm glad that you're like a good sport about it. I know free market.
I think it's a great thesis,
too.
Actually, I actually think hologram's thesis is a good one. It sounds like a thesis that I would come up with on a project for a long-term angle, and we do know that they have a deal with Champion, the unlikely fashion hero of the last few years. Was
shocking, actually.
$2 special buy in Walmart for the last 2 decades, and then all of a sudden has just come ramping onto the fashion scene, grabbing licensing deals with Disney and all sorts of desirable IP. So Champion, just like Ray-Ban, did you know you used to be able to buy Ray-Bans for $8.99 in places like Rite Aid and Duane Reade, as that brand was left for dead by its original creators, only to be revived and turned into a luxury fashion brand by Luxottica, the Italian sunglasses powerhouse. There we go. Oh yeah.
Oh, now you guys are going to be able to like see everything that's behind me. You're going to have people like analyzing what's up on my screen. Yeah.
There's your seed phrase right there.
It's too dark in here for that. I thought I lost these. I was really happy that I didn't find them. I love my Ray-Bans, actually.
Ray-Ban boy.
Yeah, man. But Champion really kind of came back into the scene. That thing was dead and done for a while, but now has rebranded as like a premium fashion thing. I'm pulling up Frankenpunks too. That's one that we haven't given any kind of attention to, but always see people talking to it. 3D Frankenpunks, is that it?
Yep.
Yeah, here we are. I'm just trying to find the OpenSea link. Their site does not have it. Perfect. Have you taken a look at any of these?
I have. They're fine. I mean, they are. They were a mint that I want to say crept up on people, though I do know that they were around for a bit. I had heard people mentioning the Frankenpunks. This was post the blow-off top a few Saturdays ago, but people still had a lot of ETH and were hungry for new mints. This thing minted, had a really nice rise, and then something else. I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was like one of these land plays. Something else minted right around the same time, took the wind out of the sails, but they've been persistent, and people haven't let them just go. People seem to like them. They're at 0.4 right now. I think they were up to 0.6. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like they were average.
Opinion doesn't really matter, I guess. They're 3D punks.
Yeah, they're having a run right now, actually. Some good volume. Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my friend. We got a couple of other things that we got to attend to today. We should probably start looking forward to. You want to give some hints as to what we're talking or who we're talking to today? Or say it, I guess?
I am so pumped for this one. Speaking of FMC finding dead projects with good art, this project is far from dead. This is Creature Toads. We are having the creator Semper on the AM show here at 1 p.m. Eastern today. We are going to be talking about Creature Toads Genesis, which is fascinating to me because this guy had a passion project idea that got so much love on Twitter, he decided to turn it into a real collection. Yet it's been maligned by the creature world community as some sort of derivative cash grab, which couldn't be farther from the truth. I also want to talk about his new Ohm fork. This is, to me, going to be revolutionary. We've seen the drama with Ohm over the last week, as that thing has fallen from $1,000 to 120 or something like that. Just an utter destruction in the value of Ohm. Yet, what is the angle, I think, that could revive the 3,3 meme and take Ohm back out of the graveyard and into glory? And I think it's an NFT gamified front end. And this is what we're going to talk to Semper about here at 1 p.m. today. So looking forward to that. Creature Toads creator live on the AM show.
Yeah, that's that is been a cool project that I know you had accumulated, at least when it was down. It was like, I think I ended up buying a bunch for like 0.03 or something like that, maybe even cheaper. I know they were free at one point during the tax loss harvesting.
Mm-hmm. I got shares for 0. And the
yeah,
floor
which is incredible.
Is like 0.3 right now, and I literally paid 0. The guy listed them at 0. I paid the gas, whatever it was at the time, and I got them. And I have been buying Creature Toads, Baby Toads, and Breakfast World, 3 of these projects that launched around the same time. I thought have the same vibe and the same potential for a comeback. I buy them anytime. It's almost like a savings account for me. I believe I have made, this is my boldest prediction for 2022, that Creature Toads will flip Creature World. We're sitting right now at about a 1-to-10 ratio, and I think that's going to flip, and I think Creature Toads are going to get above Creature World at some point this year. They look better than Creature.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool project with the baby toads that you could create as well.
Semper is a very smart and nice guy who loves to say how much he loves both projects that inspired him, which is true. I love both projects that inspired him, but quite frankly, his art is better. And the way that the Creature World community maligned him is unfair. So I'm really looking forward to this interview today.
Definitely. Want to just wrap it up. I think Nash is asking about Beans NFT. I don't know if you're talking about Azuki, the red bean there, but I guess it does warrant mention regardless that Azuki is revealing today at 3 p.m.
Sweet.
So that's definitely going to be something to watch for too. Maybe we should hop on a Spaces and do a little reveal party there.
I would love to do that because this is going to be a very interesting reveal. We talk about often with projects that pull all their hype forward, they really have to do something incredible upon reveal to maintain that price. Usually, I will asterisk that with usually, and that comes down to floors, in our opinion. We tend to think that if the floors look too common, too similar, no matter what hype was pulled forward, you're going to see that pretty aggressive sell right after reveal. So Azuki is beloved art. Everything we've seen, we love the previews. I guess we're just curious to see if those comments pop and stand out and whether they can maintain, what are they, 3.5 right now on the secondary?
I was checking, but OpenSea doesn't want to let me in. So
quite a cook from the 1 ETH Dutch auction, and one of the quickest raises in crypto history, 8,888 ETH in one block. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, one block is wild to me. Just the full mint done in a split second. Why even do the Dutch auction at that point?
I'm not sure they knew.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I guess maybe, I guess there's a little bit of like humility infused into the idea of a Dutch auction, where you could say, we think it'll sell out at 1, but if it doesn't, then the market can choose the price.
Yet the market always thinks it's a cash grab, right? When the market sees a Dutch auction, these fuckers trying to get as much money out of us as possible. You know, these are public seed rounds. If this is like an act, we understand if it's a low effort cash grab. If this is an entity that looks like it's trying to do more than just the initial art they're selling you, don't knock them too much for trying to pull this money. You know, they need a good amount of money in their coffers to pull off these ambitious roadmaps.
Yeah, and I'm less inclined to put a lot of hate or blame on a project that has clearly put effort into it. You know, like this one has been around for a while. It's been building up. This is, you know, they didn't manufacture a lot of hype. I don't think it was more organic. You know, that's obviously a really bullish sign. But like, even you go on their website. And like it's very clean, like it just looks good. Like they spent time designing this, making this look like a proper. Most websites for NFTs are like a copy paste 1-page landing thing. You know, you just scroll down and it's preview, mint details, mint roadmap, public roadmap, team that you can't even click on the names for because they actually don't have any real profiles, and you know, that's about it. This is you know, this is design. This is good looking. It's on brand.
It really shines a spotlight not on them, but on every other NFT project. Like this is the type of art that's going to start coming for this industry on a regular basis now. So it really puts a stark contrast on most of the projects we see on a daily basis, where we try to tell ourselves the art is good. I mean, this is good art.
Yep.
This is you don't need to do any type of mental gymnastics to get yourself there. This is good art.
Yeah, I do think it all comes down to what you mentioned though, and it's going to be like looking at what the floors look like. Do they look too common? Do they all look the same, or is it going to be a thing? Right. And it's hard because most of the art they're teasing is like full body, different kind of poses and stuff like this.
You never know. You never know. We think we know. Mecca is a great example. I thought that was going to be a dope reveal. I don't think most people. I think most people were caught off guard there. We really thought that was going to be a dope reveal. And there are other ones where it surprised us how good the commons were. So I don't think you ever know. And it's like the one of ones look absolutely fabulous in this collection. We need those commons to pop, I think, to maintain 3.2 after the review.
You got it. Yeah. We're gonna watch that super closely. We set a price line, didn't we? Did you say 50 ETH?
Oh yeah, we did a high low, right? Yeah, I think it was 50 on the Azukis.
I took the over. I don't think that's a foregone conclusion, though. I'm not saying that's a lock. I wouldn't be betting the farm on it. But,
I'm not going to bet under. I'm going to bet my line. I want to see how good my line is. I don't think it's going to be much under that, but I think that's a good line. I'm curious.
I think it's a great line. I think that first one that pops off will probably go for, if it does, go for like 40 or 50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
If that happens early in the reveal, it's going to set the tone. And, you know, these whales like to one-up each other for how much fucking ETH they spend on some of this stuff. So
if that happens, you're going to win easily. There'll probably be 100 ETH sale overnight. If like the first rares go for that.
Yeah. We'll have to do that for HAPEBeast too, because that's going to be another interesting one.
I don't want to look. I couldn't possibly FUD anyone's bags. You're sitting on, fucking 15 ETH if you got to mint those things. So don't take it as fun. I'm just not impressed with the common previews that I saw. So we'll see. I have been wrong a lot the last 2 weeks. So don't go betting on my prediction.
All right. How you feeling, man? You're looking forward to a good Thursday?
Oh my God, I am pumped for this interview. You know how big of a Creature Toads fan I am,
I
and
know.
hey, gas is low, so let's
I'm just gonna sit
go
back
buy
and
some
let
NFTs,
you.
baby. Floors are firming up. The dopamine is slowly filling up my dried husk of a body again. That was just.
I could tell, yeah, you had some fire in you today. You
Mm,
were,
mm.
you're always animated, but you came in with you had some heat today.
It's
Love it.
spicy FMC.
You got it. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna keep it a little bit shorter. Yesterday we hit almost 2.5 hours, which is crazy, but creeping up to 2 hours right now. So we're gonna wrap it up right here. Again, like if you tuned in late or you missed any of the other episodes, always on Spotify, always on YouTube. Today we went over Instagram and Facebook integrating NFTs, Tom Brady's autograph platform. We did some good Ether Orcs talk. We talked about LooksRare and how that just continues to impress on all aspects. We talked a lot about the HAPEBeast project and where that can go. CryptoBatz by Ozzy Ozbourne. Did some critters talk, and then all of the other stuff that we hit in the Q&A. So always appreciate the love, always appreciate the audience, and we will do it again for the last episode of the week tomorrow at 9:30. Free Market, take us out of here.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gen.